What I wish I knew before my son started on his educational journey. Upon reflection, I wish I knew about those challenges that I would have to face. The frustration, the confusion, the disappointment, and still, despite there being more than a decade on, many parents are still having to face these experiences daily. Thankfully, my son obtained the qualifications that he was hoping for, but it doesn't stop me from thinking that as a parent, if I knew what I know now, would I have been more equipped to deal with the challenges? My name is Brenda and I'm a parent mentor and a fellow parent. I support parents raising children with individual needs and differences to stay empowered whilst they navigate through procedural challenges. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 things I wish I knew before my son started on his special educational needs journey, and how I believe that if I knew what I knew now, perhaps I may have approached things differently. And the first thing is that I wish I knew that I would have to lower my expectations. I wasn't expecting delays after initiating some form of action once my son's individual needs and differences were acknowledged. I wasn't expecting the confusion of navigating with the different multi-agencies that the local authorities worked in partnership with, especially when it came to identifying who does what, when, where and how. I wasn't expecting my son to go for lengths of time without support, especially as those that had the duty of care knew about his situation and knew that this will bring on struggles and difficulties for him. Basically, in my experience, I wasn't expecting things to get really bad before things got better. To feel disappointed as a result of expecting resources, outcomes and or provisions to be available when required by your child in real time is most likely to make any parent feel disempowered. And staying empowered is the most effective way to create progress for your child. I found that lowering expectations reduced the feeling of disappointment, as it allowed me to have better control over how I would respond to the further setbacks and challenges, so that I'll be able to deal with things in the long run. Having high expectations about how you may think things should be will lead to disappointment. When the expectation is not met, therefore it makes it challenging to deal with difficult situations when they come up. Which leads me on to the second point. I wish I knew that I would take on the role of Columbo. So as a parent, I had no problem with attending to my child's health needs, where perhaps I'd have to go to the GP or attend a health clinic. But I didn't expect to take on the role of a detective, where I'd have to chase paperwork, follow up the draft copy of the EHCP, basically ensuring that the right information is in the right place at the right time, as well as pointing out concerns that may have been overlooked, and to be in a position to challenge an outcome or a decision. Although I didn't take up this role voluntarily, it did allow me to become more open-minded and sceptical, because I found that this approach ensures that I stay involved and engaged in the process, as this journey leaves nothing left to the imagination for what can be done when you are feeling empowered. And the third thing is, I wish I knew that I would connect to a great whole new community. I wish I knew that I wouldn't feel so isolated, especially at the beginning. I wish I knew that I would meet people at workshops and at the school gates, at the cafe, at the local town centre, places that I would not have expected. And it's been inspiring to listen to other parents' experience and take some of their insight in terms of what they're having to deal with and experience. And this wasn't the case just for other parents, it would be for professionals. It would be those subtle conversations that you'd have with a speech and language therapist, or perhaps a community nurse, or perhaps a health visitor. And this helped in knowing that you form part of a wider community where we're able to connect and share knowledge, and how in numbers we can really make a positive impact towards the future prospects of children living with individual differences and needs, such as autism and ADHD and other medical conditions. And this brings me on to the fourth one. I wish that I knew that I was going to be sent from pillar to post. As a parent, I'd be very busy. There were times on this journey where I'd be seeking information towards a diagnosis so that it would be easier for my child to access support. And I wasn't expecting that if I go to one professional, I would then be led to go on to another. For example, I would initially go to one professional and then be told that, oh, I'm sorry, it's not down to us, and then go to the next one, oh, it's down to the GP, and then go to the GP and then be told that actually you have to go back to the school. And these particular situations can add to feeling disempowered, especially when you're told that your child won't receive that level of support unless they have X, Y, and Z, and you yourself know that you don't have access to that and you need it from another professional. However, you've tried so many different professionals and they've all come back saying they don't know what you're talking about. That can happen. It pays just to have an awareness that this does actually happen. By knowing that, it allows us parents to take the initiative to decide where to go from there. Which brings me on to the final thing I wish I knew, and I wish I knew that you would definitely become more resilient if you weren't already. Navigating through challenges and setbacks when you're in a more empowered state does build on your resilience. And as I mentioned time and time again, staying empowered is really the most effective way to create progress for your child. Because when you're fobbed off or being judged by others, where you're either dismissed or you're not listened to, becoming resilient helps you to rebound from those setbacks. Because if you lack resilience, you end up feeling stuck. Because let's face it, as parents, it is on us to look out for the unfairness and the overlooked difficulties that a child is likely to face when their needs are unmet. Some people watching this video may say that no, you don't have to lower your expectations. No, you don't have to take on the role of Columbo. Because if it's done properly, you don't need to do that. That may be so, but in reality, that's not always the case. That's why I wish I knew what I know now before my son started on his special educational needs journey. So I'd love to know what you think about what I've shared in this video. Why not share your own experiences or let me know what your thoughts are. I'm sure there are many things that I've possibly missed off, so please feel free to share. But for now, if you want to look at different ways of staying empowered, why not check out some of my other videos, or alternatively take a look at my website. But for now, keep doing what you're doing, stay focused, stay empowered and keep creating progress. Thank you for listening.